this is what we want, don't we? Because just think of it. In a few minutes, it'll be history. A few minutes, it'll be history.
Now, I hope they don't rewind up here. We sounding crazy.
How you doing? Good.
Glad you're over here. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Well, I'm so nervous. I said I've done this.
But no, I really enjoy following your campaign.
There's not too old.
If anybody needs a sign, you take one in their hand. Everybody with a sign. We only got 2 hours. Let me get our
I think
speakers
maybe
down
we
here.
should turn it this way because nobody's.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah, we'll move it.
That's fine, because he said set the speakers. Let's just go with what we got.
Okay.
Because this is going to be on camera. These people are hearing us with the microphones.
Yeah.
And then the rally will
Okay.
move to the
I'm
front.
gonna go ahead and that way it looks like we're in two different places. Move that.
And I've told them to get the chairs, the police department, all that in. I need everybody to start getting down here so we can get started.
Hi, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you.
Of course. Just comment. You can just be. You can just talk
For the
normal,
short.
okay? One's for video, one's for audio.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Deborah Ujevich, and I work with the West Virginia Family of Convicted People. What we try to do is outreach to and be a voice for those who can't speak for themselves right at this moment in time. We're all here today because we are appalled, shocked, and horrified at the conditions in West Virginia's regional jails. Over a 10-year period, 100 people died in West Virginia regional jails. But in 2022, that number was 52. So almost half as many died in 1 year as had the previous 10 years. 13 of those deaths happened in Southern Regional Jail. And that is why we are here today, to raise awareness and bring attention to this critical issue. There are answers. There are solutions. They would be large and systemic for the most part, but they're worth evaluating, and any step forward is better than the backward steps that we have been taking. Some of the things that we could ask our legislators to take a look at would be enforcing the caps on the jails. I know that I have looked and done some investigating into each facility, both DCR facilities and the regional jails. And while it tells you how many people are in each facility, I've been unable to find how many beds there are. I know that I personally, for several months, was in a one-man cell with 2 other people. I know that I had maintenance deferred, and that meant that I had no running water in my cell. So these issues aren't just single-pronged. There's multiple reasons why this is happening, and it would require a multifaceted approach to fix it. But again, there are some issues that could be addressed rather quickly. The jail caps would be one of them. Another reason that people are held in the jails for so long are for pre-trial measures. They've not even yet been convicted of anything, but they're there because they can't afford bail. And what we're asking is how much money you have, should that be what determines whether or not you stay in jail? We don't think so. So looking at additional pre-trial measures and some bail reform, that would help. The last meaningful bail reform that happened in West Virginia was in 2020, House Bill 2419, which did impose some bail reform but allowed a tremendous amount of judicial discretion that we don't think is either being exercised or is being exercised improperly. And I do have some handouts for some people that might be interested in some of the things about which I'm speaking. Some of the other things we could look at is pretrial diversion for people, pre-arrest diversion for people who are involved in offenses or have offenses that are contain substance use involvement. Diverting them instead to treatment rather than booking them into jail. That's something that would be helpful. But as I said, there's a lot of people that have been impacted, and those are the voices we want to lift today. And I'm here today to just get things started. And like I said, I have some printed materials. If anybody's interested in seeing some of these, you can call your legislator and ask them some questions, propose some of these ideas. And I'm going to hand this off to Pam Garrison from the Poor People's Campaign. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming out and joining us. I'm Pam Garrison, Tri-Chair of the West Virginia Poor People's Campaign. We are your new civil rights movement, and we ask everyone to join us because your rights are being taken away, and we need people to stand with us. We need voices. We need your power. Don't let them take your power. Don't let them take your vote. We need it. We're here today because we have been trying to get the legislatures and our governor to address this issue for over a year. We are in a crisis. He declared a crisis over a year ago. We just now spent $20 million to have the National Guard, which is a Band-Aid on a open artery. And it's time that it has to be addressed. There is people still dying. The National Guard, they can't do nothing in there. They're standing outside and they're doing clerical work. We're spending $20 million for that. And they just ignore us. They stick their fingers in their ears and they stick their tongue out at us. And we are tired of it. And you don't hear us now. You're going to hear us at the ballot boxes because this cannot go on. Our West Virginia mountaineers cannot be dying like they're in some kind of animals are treated better. In animal shelters that our people are being treated. They are using hygiene products as a weapon against them. You know, I mean, just the brutality, the intimidation. We need a whole new system. It has to be done. There needs to be new training. They just shot a disabled man that was deaf and mute. He probably didn't even understand what they were asking him. They need training to be able to deal with the disabled, to be able to deal with mental health crisis as it's going on. And they cannot solve everything with a gun. What happened to using tasers? How come everything now is shoot first, ask questions later? We cannot go on with this. Governor Justice, you call a special session. Quit y'all back and forth. The legislatures tell us, oh, it's justice. Justice tells us, oh, it's the legislatures. Y'all played this game for over a year. We have been to the Justice Department. They don't care about us. Our government don't care about us. Our governor don't. Our legislatures don't. It's up to us, people. It's up to us. You get everybody to vote. You take your whole family. You take your whole community. You take your whole church. We've had enough. This inhumanity will stop. One way or another, it will stop. Because the people say so. And we are the people. All right. Yeah. I'm going to introduce to you some of the families that have suffered. They've enjoyed their 4th of Julys and their holidays. They've mourned theirs. Because they've lost their family for no reason. Starved, beaten, for no reason. Misdemeanors. They should have been given a ticket and sent home to be able to work and pay for their fines. Now, don't that make more sense to y'all? Yeah. Then to lock them up in there, they lose their jobs, they lose their families, they lose everything. And then you you mark them for life. They can't get a job, they can't get a place to live. That's right. This is the whole system. And we need good politicians that are going to bring it to us. So if you're ready to stand and to be the voice of the people, put your name on the ballots. We'll support you. So right now I'd like to bring up a mother of one of the victims. It's Kimberly Burks, one of your own here in Beckley. And there's a lot of y'all here in Beckley. There's a lot of us in all these counties. Northern, southern, eastern, western. It's not just here. This is all over our state. And it will stop. Miss Kim Burks, please give her a welcome.
As you know, my son was murdered at the hands of the COs at the Southern Regional Jail. He was beat to death while in handcuffs on a misdemeanor charge, which is bondable. As of this date, we still have not heard from the state, Jim Justice, Mayor Rappaport, who was numb to the fact of what happened. Jim Justice is needing our votes, but we want to vote him out. He's not worthy of the cause that we're trying to accomplish. I really want to touch up on a couple of things that I've written down. I have 2 recommendations to improve conditions at the Southern Regional Jail. One is training and staff of human rights and making change happen. Implement body-worn cameras to keep everyone safe. While inmates are there, they deserve to be held in safe living conditions. The presence of body cameras means there is no denying how an incident is unfolded. Should an officer's behavior come into question regarding the inmate's care, then the accountability will fall on the SRJ in disciplining the officers appropriately. Finally, the body-worn cameras will show exactly what happened and tell the story, because everyone wants to know the truth about anybody that's been lost in the SRJ. This cannot keep happening. We can no longer let this happen. We've had to do holidays, birthdays, Father's Days, graduations, all without Quan. He didn't deserve what happened to him, but what he does deserve is answers. And we need to bring them answers forth so we can have them for him. And I want to make one more comment. I am not intimidated. You're intimidated. There's a difference. I am not mean nor aggressive. I am honest and assertive, and that makes you uncomfortable. And it's not me that makes you uncomfortable. My presence challenges your comfort. I will not be less for you to feel better about yourself.
You know what that means? You fuck with the wrong nigga.
This is Quan's daughter, Kiera, and she wants to make a comment.
It's all right. It's all right. You do what you want. If not, I'll introduce Miranda. It's up to you, honey. No, okay.
You don't want to talk?
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Miranda Smith. She's another one who has went without her family member. She has lost her dad. She's lost her dad.
It's okay.
So, I'm going to let her speak to you.
Hi, I'm Miranda Smith. My dad, Alvis Shrewsbury, he died in SRJ on September 17th, 2022. He was beaten by other inmates and then neglected by the nursing staff at SRJ. I don't think that these people that work there are actually even equipped to do the things that they're doing, or they just don't care about the things that they're doing. They actually had told my dad on several occasions after he had asked for help that he was fine, that he was okay. Any nurse knows that any complaint should be addressed immediately. The people there, the COs there, they turn blind eyes to everything that is going on. There's absolutely not one room there suitable for living. They're going without running water. There's no their capacity there is way overfilled. There are so many people in one cell that they're having to sleep in the floor. These things are unacceptable and could easily be fixed if our governors would address that. He put us under a state of emergency a year ago. There is letters from Elliot. He is a board member in Fayetteville. I'm pretty sure where Mount Olive's located. He's actually written a letter himself to Governor Justice asking him, please give us the help you said we needed. He has no answer for anything. Jim Justice will not come forward and say anything other than, let this play out. We're sick of letting it play out. People are dying while it's playing out. We have to do something as soon as possible. As soon as possible, something needs done. And the money that is stacked away and put away for these politicians need to be put toward West Virginia jails. It's not even just SRJ. All of these jails are under state of emergency. All of these jails are having deaths, starving. They're all in bad living conditions. As we're speaking, these people are living in horrible conditions, worse than animals. You would go to jail for having your animals contained in these conditions. Something needs done. We need to address this immediately. I'm not sure how it hasn't been addressed already.
Thank you, Miranda.
Kimberly has one more thing she'd like to say to y'all.
Yes, Kimberly.
We have invited delegates all over from West Virginia to come. As you see, we have the empty chairs. Mr. Todd Kirby is the delegate from this area, and I want to thank you for coming out and showing us your support. We really appreciate you listening and just trying to feel what we're feeling, because we have not gotten any kind of answers, and we're trying to make a difference and a change in the way things are unfolding here in West Virginia at the SRJ. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kimberly. And so we will this time turn it over to Deb, and we'll let her finish up. I want y'all to know that this past, I believe it was February or March, we delivered over 4,000 signatures, West Virginia signatures, on a petition to Governor Justice's office down in Charleston. We've got no response.
No response.
Nothing. We've got nothing. Our voices to them mean nothing. Deb, I'm going to turn it over to you. And thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for your support.
Hi. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I want to echo the sentiment about thanking Delegate Kirby for showing up. We really do appreciate that. There are, as we're saying, there are so many questions. So far, the only solution that's been proposed is there's been some discussion about a special session where CO pay raises would be considered. I mean, that's only one tiny facet of this problem. Ask yourself, how are CO pay raises going to reduce overcrowding in the jails? How is that going to improve safety in the jails? There are a lot of other questions that need answered and a lot more attention brought to this issue, all aspects of this issue, and that's what we're trying to do today, to say this is a huge problem that requires a lot of help and that we are en masse asking for that help. We're not here necessarily to criticize, we're not here to complain, we're here to share our stories, share our experience, and say, we're at the point now where you are our last resort. You are the final avenue, and will you help us? I actually also have a QR code. If people want to scan this, I have several of them. If you want to scan this, it'll take you directly to the governor's website where you can put in, your questions about the jail and everything like that. And I'm going to ask right now if anybody has any questions for us.
Money.
Why is that happening? Like,
Why is people going to jail, getting handcuffs and going to jail for misdemeanors?
Oh.
under any circumstance, they're going to pay a fine and they're going to go home.
Yeah, that's a huge problem. That's one of the things we want to highlight. One of the things that's highlighted on the handout that I have. That's a big question. Should how much time you spend in jail before you're even seen in court depend on how much money you have? Because overwhelmingly, if you take a look at who is being held in jail, it's people who are pretrial, not people who are actually serving their time. So is that fair? That's why I talked before about bail reform. Is how much money you have, is that what determines how long you get to spend in jail or how long you have to spend in jail? We don't think so. So again, that's one of the issues that we're raising, is some common sense bail reform and some, yeah. What's that?
That's true.
I didn't hear everything.
It also determines how long you're going to live in jail.
I couldn't hear you last part.
How long you're going to live in
Oh,
jail.
yes, that's what we're saying. You know, CO pay raises are not a fix-all to this problem. They're not the solution to this problem. That's why we ask people today to share their stories, so that we can raise awareness, bring awareness to the fact that it's not just as simple as a staffing shortage. That's not the answer. And in some cases, the staff is the problem. That's another question we have. How are CO pay raises going to stop some of the problems that we're having with the contraband brought into the jail? Some of the conduct of the COs that are in the jail. Is more money going to stop that from happening? We don't think so. But again, we're prepared to offer some solutions. We didn't want to just come here and lay out criticisms. Again, you know, telling your story is not criticism. That's raising awareness. That's saying we are the faces behind these stories. We are the people behind those who lost their lives in these jails. But you know what? We have some ideas. We don't want to just be part of the problem. We also want to be part of the solution. So help us out. Help us get these answers and help us fix these problems. Anybody else with questions?
Anything from the press?
Okay, I think
Any
we're good.
questions from the press?
I have a question.
Yes.
What do you think it means just to be here with everybody today, just to spread the word and raise awareness?
I'm sorry.
What do you think it means to be here today with all the people spreading awareness?
What do I think it means? I think it means, well, I think it means hope. I think it means that we are giving a voice to the voiceless. That's exactly what I think it means. This is a sign of hope. People coming out and saying, you know what, we've had enough. We may not even have had somebody who was impacted by this problem, but we are all impacted by this problem. Yep. Every one of us that lives in this state, every one of us that pays the taxes, that fund these institutions, and that fund this conduct, we all have a stake in this. Yep. So for everybody that showed up today, I think the message that you're sending to those people who can't be with us today, or who chose not to be with us today, is that we are listening and we are not going to stop until we're heard. There are only maybe, there's this many people today. Everybody goes out and spreads the word. The next time, twice as many people show up. And then twice as many as that show up. So 2 people today could be 200 people next month. That's exactly what we're trying to do. Bring people together and open their eyes to what's happening all around them.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. And we'll close up the press conference today. And we want everyone to stay. And if you aren't already here, get on up here for the rally. We'll start it at 12 o'clock until 1 o'clock. So come and join us. Thank you. Got set up. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I thank everybody for coming.